My brother and I, 17, were an accidental pregnancy. For context, our oldest sibling is 37 and has a kid who goes to our high school. Our nearest sibling in age is 28. My parents always made it clear that we weren't supposed to exist. They were never abusive or neglectful or anything, but they were kind of cold our whole childhood. My brother and I will graduate high school in about a week, and will be 18 in 2 weeks. My parents have told us that as soon as we turn 18, we will have to pay rent. Neither of us have jobs, and we probably won't be able to get jobs right now. I confided in my sister that I'm really stressed about this, and she offered to let my brother and I stay with her while we're in university, completely free of charge. I'm really grateful for this, and we're planning on accepting her offer. I told my parents about this, and they freaked out. I guess my mom was planning to move to part-time work and they needed rent from my brother and I to keep up with rent. They said that they have provided for us our whole lives, and we should pay them back now that we're almost adults. I mean, it's true. They have given us everything we needed for 18 years, and I really don't want them to be homeless if they can't afford the rent, but I don't know how I would even afford to live with them. Am I the idiot? Edit, my brother and I both have some savings, so we could conceivably pay rent for a few months. I also feel guilty moving in with my sister, because she has 3 little kids and a cat to take care of, and I don't want to put any extra strain on her. None of my siblings have a great relationship with our parents, so my parents won't ask them for help. Not the idiot. Your parents are completely in the wrong. They have 6 children, 4 of whom are actual adults, and their life plan is relying on 2 not even 18 years old financially? That makes no sense. You do not owe your parents anything, to be quite honest. Whether or not you were an accident, you are their child, and in that regard they owe you. You do not owe them by virtue of them having birthed you. If they need financial assistance, they should go to their adult children. Don't worry about getting a job. Worry about your education and your emotional well-being. Go and live with your sister and let your parents figure their own lives out. That's not your responsibility. Not the idiot. Your parents do not need to be repaid. They chose to have love, they chose to not abort, and they chose to not give you up for adoption. So the expenses of raising you is all on them. They had chances to back out, you didn't give consent to be born, raised by them. Sounds like they just want to use you to pad their retirement accounts. My advice, take up your sister's offer. Repay her by babysitting and buying groceries every so often. Clean communal areas. I'm 19F, just finished first year of college. Toxic parents will make your grades tank. Run while you can. You don't owe them rent because they let you live there as children. It's called parenting. I think that ideally once a child has finished school and is able to work, a nominal amount of rent is reasonable, but right now isn't exactly ideal, and I think most reasonable parents would give a bit of slack given it is so hard to get work right now. Think through, if you stay with your sister in the short term, what the next step is. I doubt staying there is a long-term solution unless it is a big house and she is happy to trade rent for child care, which would be reasonable. Update. It's been like 3 weeks and many things have happened. I graduated high school, go me, I turned 18, and I moved out. I finally feel like I'm adulting, kind of. I moved in with my sister the day after my birthday, and I've been living with her for a bit over 2 weeks. It's been really weird. They do all of this stuff in her house that we never did as kids. Family dinners every night? Never done it once until now. My sister and her fiancé carve out blocks of time to spend with the kids. My parents never did that. My oldest nephew, he's 10, dropped an open can of pineapple in the kitchen a few days ago. I expected him to get yelled at, but my sister just helped him clean it up and told him to grab a new can from the pantry. That was weird. My parents were never that chill. When I was a kid I would see these perfect families on TV, shout out to Dinosaur Train Lamau, and my parents always told me that those kinds of parents didn't exist. That it was all made up for TV. That real parents don't take that much of an interest in their kids' lives and interests. I believed them until now. In the past few weeks, I've seen my sister and her fiancé spend hours making model planes with my oldest nephew, or rocking the youngest to sleep when she was overtired. That stuff never happened when I was a kid. My niece, she's 4, woke up in the middle of the night last week, crying about something. Instead of telling her to STFU and go to bed, My sister's fiancé got up and sat with her until she fell asleep. I guess I was just surprised that my experiences aren't the norm. Anyway, both my brother and I are doing really well here. My brother has been cooking a lot, he's going to culinary school, and everyone seems to really appreciate it. I've been spending time with my nieces and nephew, and I have played more Minecraft these past 2 weeks than I think I've played in my entire life. If anyone knows what Titanfall 2 is, please help me out. I've been an adult for less than a month, and these children and their newfangled video games already confuse me. This is all just a very long-winded way to say thanks. If I hadn't posted here, I don't think I would have moved out. My savings would basically be drained, and I wouldn't be as happy as I am now. So thank you. My heart goes out to you both. I read your first post and wanted you to leave so badly. Your description of how your sister and her fiancé treat their kids, the way a parent is supposed to, and how bewildered you were makes my heart hurt. I hope nothing but the best for you from now on. And congrats on graduating. I just graduated too, so I know it must feel like a huge weight lifted off your shoulders. After reading about how your parents are, I find it amazing how you and all of your siblings were able to be such amazing humans with your parents as an example. I'm so glad you have already exceeded your parents and have each other. I'm sorry your parents are like that. I have a 21-year-old and a 13-year-old, and I would never dream of ever telling one of my kids that they should have never been born, that I regretted getting pregnant with them, or say that they owe me for doing what parents are supposed to do. I hope you never look back and excel in everything you aim to do. Glad this has worked out for you and your twin brother. Make sure moving in with your sister is mutual pleasant. As you have not been born and raised with this, it is the tiniest amount of effort and the smallest gestures that are taken to the heart. If you pay something or not, that is of lesser importance, but an offer to babysit, or to do some laundry, or unasked help with cleaning up makes the world go round. Before you move out elsewhere, I hope you get the experience of feeling loved, appreciated, and a real part of the family. And that it may last years before you do so. You and your brother deserve this. I, 25, started my master's program last year right before the world became dystopian. My boyfriend, 34, and I have been together for 4 years, and he has watched me scrimp and save in order for me to afford to go to school. I mean, I was poor. Anyways, for Christmas this year he surprised me with a really nice and expensive computer since all of my school is online. I was incredibly grateful for the gift and did not expect it at all. In fact, I told him he needed to return it because my old computer was fine. He assured me this was my gift to do what I needed in order to graduate school. However, this was the first very expensive gift my boyfriend has bought me. He's bought me some jewelry that was around $100, which I consider to be expensive, but this computer was in the thousands. What I did not expect was how this computer was going to be used as a bargaining tool for months to come. Every week, he'll ask me for money. When I say no, we really need to save this for blank fund, he'll say, well, we could have did that with you computer, but I still got it for you, so you owe me. It's been several conversations like this, both joking and serious, about how I owe him for the computer. I've had several conversations about this with him and told him I don't appreciate how he's using this computer for leverage when he wants me to get him something. He'll apologize, but a week later brings it up again. It's become such a source of contention that I told him I was going to sell the computer and buy a cheaper one and give him back a bulk of the money. I didn't like having this expensive of a computer anyways, and did find it to be a waste of his money. He told me to not, which resulted in a big argument. I firmly told him that it's my gift and I can do what I want with it. I'm unsure if he thought I was bluffing or not, but I sold my computer today to a good friend who paid near brand new price. I bought myself a cheaper laptop and gave him the bulk of his money back. He is furious at me for not keeping his very nice gift, however, I felt like it was the only way to solve the conflict. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Well done for getting rid of the leverage. But I do agree with others, the red flags this early in the relationship don't bode well for the future. Abusive, controlling men are often full of apparently redeeming traits, but when he has you dependent, barefoot and pregnant, you will find it bloody hard to get away. If he puts a ring on it, he may also up the ante of abuse, get physical, as well. I speak from experience. I wish you all the best and hope that you are right about him being a good man despite his controlling behaviors. Not the idiot, but he is angry you got rid of the thing he can use to force your obedience. This is a type of financial abuse and is a massive red flag. Keep the money but run. It was a gift after all. My guess is this is the tip of the iceberg of manipulation tactics. Remember, when we love someone we often excuse stuff like this. Also, it raised with abuse it can seem normal. It isn't. Your boyfriend has watched you struggle and scrimp for ages, and only decided to get you something expensive so he could hold it over your head. That's a huge issue. Especially when it wasn't even something you wanted. He's lauding over you and trying to guilt you into doing things. This is not someone that respects you. Regardless of how many good or redeemable qualities you say he has, this is something that negates all of it. It's not your fault he chose to waste thousands and then complain about not having enough money. That's manipulation. First time poster, lockdown lurker. 11 years old ago, my 34 sister, Bill, dad died leaving me guardian to my 2 nieces, then 5/3. My dad left me his house so we moved there. The kids settled in the school quickly and made friends. This woman, 45, was particularly good at making sure the kids and I were included in events, but she seemed a bit off. She kept telling me how lucky I was to have such a nice house. I pointed out that I only inherited it as 3 members of my family died, but she laughed and called me sentimental. She also loved to organize events at my pool, but she always made out that she was the host, taking charge, making me feel like a stranger in my own house. Our youngest daughters share a birthday, so they generally share a pool party. 6 meters ago my BF, R, 35, moved in. I've known him as a friend since before my sis died, and the girls think of him as their favorite uncle. But recently we got together. A few months after he'd moved in, S texted me saying there were rumors about R and my oldest E, now 16. S said he'd acted inappropriately towards E. I asked E about her day. When she realized there'd been gossip, she burst into tears saying she hated this village as no one wanted you to be happy. She said as they walked down the high street, he'd given her a side hug and kissed her on the top of her head. She said it made her feel like she had a dad for the first time in her life, and now the moment was ruined. S texted me later asking what I'd done, and I told her to drop it. But she kept texting me, saying I was too young to see how he was manipulating me. She suggested he was grooming my daughter. I told her to stop again, but she didn't. So I blocked her number and unfollowed her on all social media. Other friends sent me screenshots of where she'd posted to friends that he was a threat to children and I was an enabler. Then a few days ago, I bumped into S. She was all smiles, telling me which date suited them best for the party and how all the village were looking forward to it. I said that due to COVID no pool parties were happening, and even if there were, surely as a mother she wouldn't want her kids to attend a gathering where a threat to children and his enabler were present. She said she didn't know what I meant. I said I could show her some screenshots if it would help. She said how much her daughter was looking forward to it, that I'd be selfish if I didn't let it go ahead. I said she should have thought about that before spreading false rumors. I said if my girl invited hers over, that was fine, but S was never to step foot on my property again. Afterwards she posted something on the community Facebook page about selfish income or idiots. It got taken down, but not before her friends left nasty comments. One of them texted me saying I should be nicer considering the circumstances, but I don't even know what that means. Anyway, I don't think I've been unreasonable, but clearly half the village think I'm the idiot. Am I? Update, well that blew up. Thank you for the awards, I really appreciate them. I'm trying to go through all the comments, but sorry if I don't reply. 1, R and I will get legal advice and then decide what to do too. Friends seem to think S has damaged herself more than me. People have always given her leeway as she does do loads in the village and she is married to a total crap. But her post about incomers has offended loads of people, anyone who wasn't born here, and stirred up lots of ill feelings. 3, for those of you who say we should move, I have thought about it. But we can't really for 2 years until we get to a good point in the girls' schooling. It's under consideration. 4, I'm going to message the one who told me to be nicer considering the circumstances because I genuinely don't get what she means. 5, for those asking about my use of village, in the UK that's what we call places smaller than towns. Not sure what the precise geographical definition, you just know. It's not that usual to have an indoor pool in the UK, so I think that's why she's so obsessed with it. 5, I have thought about sending her a picture of me in the pool drinking a cocktail with a raised finger. But I think I would be the idiot then, and it's probably not worth the hassle. Not the idiot. Those kinds of rumors can destroy a person's life. Clearly the niece said it was not done in a strange manner, that she didn't feel uncomfortable, etc., and was fine. This outsider decided to stir drama up and wanted to reap the benefits still. She hurt your niece with gossip and would have harmed an innocent man's reputation because she couldn't ask a question or be adult about it. She also started drama on social media for it as well. It's total bullcrap. You've every right to ban someone like her. If the wrong person heard her unjustified rumors, it could have done a lot of damage. Not the idiot. I spent most of my youth, 8 to 18, in a small northern village and, although it's nowhere near as bad as the experience you've had, I got stares and judgment from being half Asian in a village full of white boomers. My dad got it more, being the actual immigrant. Villages can be lovely, community-focused places, but they can also be very insular and mistrustful of outsiders. I hope you managed to find a solution to this. Even if it is legal action, could this be reported to the police as harassment? You're absolutely right, no parent would bring her kids to that house if she genuinely believed what she'd been saying. Maybe she's jealous you found someone? Maybe she grew up without a dad and is jealous your kids now have one? Regardless, it's time she faced the consequences. If using your pool was that important to her, she wouldn't have done this. Invite people who aren't crazy and petty to share your house and pool, and leave these empty-headed gossips to entertain each other.